We're talking about the tale of the two criminals crucified alongside Jesus.
A truly pivotal moment.
Right, a pivotal moment holding secrets about grace, faith, and the very nature of salvation itself. And these secrets, they really challenge our assumptions about, well, earning divine favor.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And this isn't just a historical account pulled from Luke's gospel, is it? It's a profound theological crucible.
Right.
In just a handful of verses, we find this concentrated burst of insight. It speaks volumes about the human condition, about divine mercy, and maybe crucially, the accessibility of spiritual connection. So our mission today is really to extract the most important nuggets of understanding from the sources you provided. We're not just going to recount the story.
No.
We want to truly understand the hidden meaning behind that one thief's last desperate words, and, well, even more astonishingly, Jesus' immediate and unconditional response.
Amazing.
This narrative challenges us, really, to reconsider what we think we know about worthiness and redemption. It offers perspectives that are, frankly, as radical now as they were 2,000 years ago.
Absolutely. We want to peel back the layers of this really powerful narrative and connect it to broader concepts that we believe will resonate deeply with your own understanding of faith, justice, and mercy. So get ready to have some perhaps long-held assumptions beautifully and maybe even, well, scandalously re-examined.
Let's dive in.
Okay, section 1. The agony of Calvary, a scene of despair and spectacle. To truly grasp the weight of this story, we first need to immerse ourselves in its historical and cultural context. We're talking about Roman crucifixion.
Which was horrific.
Truly barbaric and strategically designed. It was a form of public execution. This wasn't simply a method to kill someone.
No, not at all.
It was a carefully orchestrated spectacle. Humiliation, protracted suffering, all designed to deter any form of dissent or rebellion against Roman authority.
A political tool, really.
Exactly. Imagine the physical agony, spikes driven through wrists and feet, the excruciating struggle just to take a breath as the body sags. Muscles seizing, dehydration, shock setting in over hours, sometimes even days. It's hard to even fathom.
And beyond that sheer physical pain, there was this profound social degradation. It was calculated, this stripping away of all dignity.
Right.
The condemned were often stripped bare, left to die slowly in full public view.
Yeah.
The contorted bodies became this grotesque, undeniable warning.
A warning sign.
Yes, it was a death engineered not just to extinguish life, but to utterly shatter the human spirit, leaving absolutely no shred of honor or even, memory behind.
And this historical brutality, it served a very specific, quite chilling purpose, as our sources highlight.
Crucifixion placed the condemned at the absolute lowest rung of society. They were considered infamia.
Infamia.
Yeah, people stripped of all legal and social standing, utterly disgraced. So, for Jesus to be subjected to such a death, and specifically, as our sources emphasize, between two thieves,
Right, that detail is crucial.
it communicated a powerful, deliberate message from an outsider's perspective. It basically branded him as nothing more than a common criminal, a rebel.
Just another lawbreaker.
Exactly. Someone entirely rejected by society and by extension, any divine power he might have claimed. The very setting, right there between two convicted lawbreakers, it fundamentally challenged any perception of Jesus' identity or mission.
From the outside looking in.
Precisely. It framed him as a failure, a pretender, maybe even a blasphemer in the eyes of some.
Yeah.
It was a visual declaration of his utter defeat and the ultimate rejection of his message.
So let's try and picture this scene vividly with us. Jesus, already brutally scourged, beaten, bleeding, utterly humiliated. He's hanging there on that central cross. And the air isn't just thick with the smell of blood and sweat. It's heavy with the sneers of the crowd and the cruel jeers of the Roman soldiers.
The noise must have been overwhelming.
They're mocking him, challenging him, their voices just cutting through the agonized groans. You can almost hear that biting irony. If you're really the Messiah, save yourself and us. Our sources really underscore this cacophony of contempt and derision.
Precisely. And the atmosphere is just steeped in layers of profound irony and, well, cynical disbelief. Here you have a man claiming divine authority, yet appearing utterly defeated, powerless.
The ultimate contrast.
Exactly. And the crowd, along with the soldiers, even the religious leaders, they demand a display of power. But it has to align with their preconceived understanding of what a Messiah should be.
Right, their checklist.
Save yourself and us. It isn't really a plea for spiritual deliverance, is it? It's a demand for a visible, earthly, conquering king, someone who would dramatically intervene and rescue them from their physical torment and, of course, Roman oppression.
Very worldly expectations.
Very. This raises an important question, doesn't it? And it's one of the overlooked truths we're exploring today. How often does external appearance profoundly obscure deeper truth? Especially in moments of immense spiritual significance.
It happens all the time.
The crowd saw a dying criminal, someone seemingly abandoned by his God. But the truth, as we'll see, was far more profound and, frankly, entirely counterintuitive to their expectations. This particular moment on Calvary, as our sources highlight, is just a powerful illustration of a recurring theme, really, in Scripture and throughout history.
Which is?
How the world often misinterprets true power when it doesn't conform to visible strength or worldly success or our conventional notions of might.
Yeah, that makes sense. And in this cacophony of suffering and scorn, amidst all the jeers and the unimaginable pain, a fascinating distinction starts to emerge. From the criminals on either side of Jesus, two distinct voices, two completely different responses to this, ultimate moment of truth break through.
And that's where it gets really interesting.
Section 2. Two criminals, two divergent responses to the cross. That distinction, those two voices, they really mark the starting point of our deep dive into humanity's divergent responses to, ultimate truth. Let's start with the voice of rejection, the mocking thief. Luke 23:39 describes him vividly. He too is dying. His body is in unimaginable pain, yet his words are just pure bitterness. They're laced with challenge and despair. If you're really the Messiah, save yourself and us.
It's a demand, not a request.
Exactly. It isn't an appeal for mercy. It's a taunt, a demand for proof of power, even in his final moments. His tone is steeped in this profound cynicism, just lashing out at what he perceives as a false hope, a broken promise.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how this reaction from one of the thieves gives us this stark window into human nature under extreme duress.
Yeah.
Is it pure anger at his fate, which he might see as unjust, or perhaps a frustrated rage at a seemingly helpless Messiah? Is it fear of the unknown manifesting as this desperate lashing out at what seems like a cruel cosmic joke?
It could be any of those.
This thief's demand reflects a deeply transactional understanding of faith, if you can even call it faith at all.
Right, like a bargain.
He's essentially saying, prove your divinity, deliver me from this torment, provide visible evidence of your power, and then maybe I'll consider believing. It's conditional bargain. It's an insistence on immediate, tangible rescue that perfectly mirrors the crowd's expectations.
Interesting parallel.
Psychologically, just consider the state of someone facing imminent death, choosing to mock and challenge divine authority, rather than, say, seeking solace or expressing remorse or even just hoping. It speaks to a profound hardening, doesn't it?
It really does.
A refusal to believe in anything beyond the immediate, brutal reality of situation. It's a testament to how suffering can sometimes calcify cynicism and just close off the heart to any glimmers of hope. His entire worldview seems defined by what he can visibly observe and immediately receive.
That's a striking contrast, isn't it? It's almost as if his immense physical suffering has ironically hardened his spiritual core even further, just cementing his disbelief and closing him off to any possibility of grace.
Seems that way.
But then amidst this profound cynicism, amidst the agonizing groans and the taunts, something truly extraordinary shifts.
Yes, and this is where the narrative pivots so dramatically, offering us this profound counterpoint, as our source material describes it. But then something shifts. The other thief, gasping for breath, sees not just a dying man, but a king. This radical shift in perception occurring in the exact same horrifying circumstances is just astonishing. If we connect this to the bigger picture, we're left wondering what might have prompted such a profound change in this second thief's understanding.
What could it have been?
We can only speculate, really, drawing from the ambient details. Perhaps it was Jesus' stoic endurance, his silent suffering, devoid of the curses or laments you might expect.
That dignity, maybe.
Perhaps. Or maybe it was the words of forgiveness Jesus had already uttered for his tormentors. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That's Luke 23:34.
Ah, yes.
And even though that wasn't directed at the thieves, it would have permeated the powerful, charged atmosphere around him.
It must have hung in the air.
It could also have been an inexplicable spiritual awakening, a moment of divine insight granted right there amidst the profound darkness and the very real presence of death. It raises an important question, I think. What does it truly take for an individual facing their own imminent death, surrounded by utter despair, to look beyond the immediate gruesome circumstances and perceive something transcendent?
Something divine.
Yes, in a man who appears utterly defeated. It suggests this profound capacity for spiritual insight, for truly seeing beyond superficial appearances, even in the most unlikely and desperate of places. He saw a king, not just a fellow condemned man. That reveals a spiritual discernment that just bypassed all worldly logic.
Incredible. Section 3. The revolutionary prayer, a plea for remembrance. And it's that profound shift, that radical recognition that leads to one of the most remarkable and, I'd say revolutionary prayers in all of Scripture.
Yeah.
So let's truly unpack this prayer.
Okay.
From the depths of his own agony, the second thief utters these exact poignant words, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." That's Luke 23.42.
So simple, yet so loaded.
This request carries not only profound humility, but also this extraordinary, almost prophetic insight. It's crucial to note, isn't it, that it's not a demand for rescue from the cross.
No, unlike the other thief.
Nor is it a plea for immediate physical relief, which would have been an entirely understandable human reaction at something far, far deeper and utterly unexpected.
Precisely, and to truly understand its power and why our sources consider it so revolutionary, we need to dissect this prayer phrase by phrase, considering its cultural and theological weight. The plea, "remember me." It's not a casual request. It's not like asking for a simple favor or just a passing thought. In ancient Near Eastern cultures, and particularly within a biblical context, asking someone in a position of power to remember, you meant much more than just, nostalgic recollection.
It had weight.
It implied a request for active covenantal remembrance. It was a plea for inclusion, for protection, for a favorable act. It meant, act on my behalf. Take me into your care. Grant me a place in your future plans.
Wow, okay.
This choice of words suggests a profound understanding of Jesus' true identity as king. A king whose kingdom, while clearly not of this world or established by earthly power, is nevertheless yet to come.
He sees beyond the cross.
Exactly. Even as Jesus hangs dying, seemingly powerless and abandoned, the thief somehow perceives and acknowledges his ultimate authority, his future reign, and his ability to grant inclusion in that future reality. This is truly a remarkable leap of faith, isn't it?
It really is.
From a convicted criminal with no prior apparent connection to Jesus, no lengthy discipleship, no public declaration of allegiance, he perceives Jesus' eternal kingship and its eternal implications.
When everyone else saw failure.
Right. At that time, the concept of a kingdom often evoked earthly power, military might, political dominion. But this thief seems to acknowledge a spiritual, a heavenly kingdom, one that transcends the very real, very painful, and very final Roman cross they are all enduring. He's asking for a place in something eternal, recognizing Jesus as the one who possesses the authority to provide it.
That's astounding, truly, to make that kind of spiritual leap in such a desperate, agonizing moment. And what makes it even more compelling, highlighting what our sources call the scandal of grace, is what the thief didn't bring to the table.
Yes, this is crucial.
Our source material makes this so clear, it lays it out in stark terms. That thief had nothing to offer, nothing. No good works, no time left to make it right, no church attendance, no religious rituals.
Zero merit in the conventional sense.
He had absolutely none of the things we often consciously or unconsciously believe are prerequisites or necessary merits for divine favor or salvation. He was at the absolute end of his life, his earthly journey defined by crime, and now, ultimate punishment.
What's truly fascinating here, and absolutely central to the story's enduring power and, yes, controversy, is how this absolute absence of traditional religious merit serves as the narrative's core.
That's the whole point.
It directly and powerfully challenges the common human inclination found across nearly all cultures and religions to believe that salvation or divine favor must somehow be earned. We are inherently wired, I think, to think in terms of contribution, effort, and reward.
Cause and effect.
If you work hard, you get paid. If you're good, you expect to be rewarded. Religious systems often mirror this pattern, suggesting salvation is achieved through deeds, through adherence to rules, through a lifetime of righteousness, or through specific rituals.
The usual framework.
But the thief had none of that. So what did he have then? As the source emphatically tells us, he had only one thing: faith.
Just faith.
This is the core argument, the revolutionary truth of this narrative. It radically simplifies and universalizes the path to spiritual connection in a way that is utterly transformative. It strips away all the layers of human striving and demands, leaving only a profound trust.
It's mind-blowing, really.
It begs the question, what might have been going through the thief's mind in that split second of decision? To choose faith, this desperate, trusting appeal, over the cynicism, derision, and bitterness of his fellow criminal.
Yeah, what tipped the scales?
Perhaps he saw a quality in Jesus, a silent strength, maybe an unearthly peace amidst the agony that spoke directly to his own brokenness. A silent understanding that just bypassed all religious expectations and social judgments. He recognized something profoundly authentic and utterly trustworthy.
And it's in response to that raw, simple, faith-filled request, a request devoid of any earthly merit, that Jesus delivers one of the most powerful and frankly radical promises ever uttered. Here's where it truly gets interesting, even astonishing. Jesus responds not with a condition, not with a lecture, not with a waiting period, but with absolute, unconditional assuredness.
Instantly.
Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise. Luke 23:43. The immediacy of today and the profound certainty of you will be with me in paradise are nothing short of breathtaking, especially given the excruciating circumstances of both men.
Indeed. The radical nature of today cannot be overstated, especially for an informed audience like yours. This immediate assurance completely contradicts nearly every ancient expectation of, say, judgment or purgation or some kind of waiting period before entering a state of eternal peace.
Right, there were usually steps involved.
In many eschatological frameworks of the time, there was an expected period, a journey, maybe even a cleansing process. But here, Jesus offers instantaneous, unmediated access.
Direct entry.
And this promise is made to a convicted criminal, a man who, moments before, had lived a life defined by wickedness, and now has absolutely no opportunity for further action, atonement, or making amends in the conventional sense. It's a declaration that utterly bypasses all human conceived processes for redemption and all earthly notions of deservedness.
So what about paradise? What does that signify here?
Well, our sources suggest it's far more than just a vague afterlife. The term itself, paradise, derived from Persian, originally referred to a royal, walled garden, a place of delight, abundance, exclusivity.
Like Eden.
Exactly. In Jewish thought, it became deeply synonymous with the Garden of Eden, that primal state of perfect communion with God, a place of unblemished harmony before the fall. So when Jesus promises paradise, he's not merely offering an escape from suffering or just a pleasant, undefined afterlife.
Think much richer.
He is promising a profound restoration, a return to that original unblemished state of blessedness, a direct and immediate communion with the divine in his very presence. This highlights an act of pure, unadulterated grace, where past deeds, however dark, and future opportunities, however non-existent, are just eclipsed by a present divine declaration of favor.
And the sheer simplicity, the absolute directness of Jesus' words, especially in such a dire, excruciating moment, it's incredibly profound. He's hanging on a cross, physically at his weakest, seemingly utterly defeated.
It's a picture of powerlessness.
Yet he speaks with an absolute, unwavering authority. There's no hesitation, no qualification, just a direct promise. That power, that certainty, even in death, is remarkable.
It truly is. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this interaction powerfully demonstrates Jesus' divine authority, even in his moments of ultimate human weakness and vulnerability on the cross.
Paradoxical, isn't it?
He is not merely a fellow sufferer or a compassionate prophet. He is unequivocally a king capable of granting eternal life. His ability to promise paradise to a dying criminal underscores the core message that salvation isn't just a distant hope, something to be achieved post-mortem through a series of actions,
It's something you work towards.
but a present reality. For those who simply believe and call upon him, it's an immediate, transformative encounter, accessible right there at the very precipice of death and utterly independent of human merit. This is truly where the divine and the human intersect in a moment of profound revelation. It reveals a power that operates outside the boundaries of worldly understanding, a kingship defined not by conquest, but by sacrificial love and an ultimate authority over life and death.
Wow. Okay, section 5. The scandal of grace, rethinking salvation. And all of this leads us directly to what our source material explicitly calls the scandal of grace. It states unequivocally, this thief shows us the scandal of grace. Salvation isn't about what you can do, it's about what he already did on the cross.
A powerful summary.
Now, for many, the word scandal might feel a bit strong here, almost jarring. What does scandal actually mean in this context? Why is it considered so scandalous or challenging to conventional religious thought?
That's a crucial question, and it's really key to understanding the depth of this narrative. Our sources point to the Greek root of the term scandalon,
Scandalon.
which doesn't primarily mean shocking behavior in the modern sense we use it. It actually means a stumbling block or an impediment.
Yeah, okay.
It's something that challenges fundamental assumptions and can cause people to stumble or be offended or even reject it outright. So, why is this particular manifestation of grace considered a stumbling block?
Yeah, why?
It's scandalous precisely because it fundamentally undermines the deeply ingrained human inclination to believe that salvation or favor from the divine must be earned. Think about it. Most human systems of justice and reward are based on merit,
Yes.
on what you do, what you contribute, what you deserve. If you work hard, you get paid. If you adhere to the law, you expect justice. Religion, in many forms, often falls into this pattern, suggesting salvation is achieved through good deeds, rituals, a lifetime of righteousness, or strict adherence to laws and traditions.
A merit system.
But the story of the thief on the cross just obliterates that notion. It radically prioritizes divine action, what Jesus already did. Through his sacrifice on the cross over any human effort, any accumulation of good works, or any past record of righteousness.
It flips the script completely.
It does. And this raises a profound question for all of us.
Yeah.
How does this dramatic shift in perspective challenge or affirm our own deep-seated understanding of justice and mercy? It suggests that divine mercy can completely bypass our conventional understanding of justice, not because justice is ignored, mind you, but because a higher divine justice has already been met through the sacrifice of Christ.
That's a complex idea.
It is. And this concept has, in fact, been fiercely debated throughout history, most notably, perhaps, during the Protestant Reformation, which heavily emphasized sola gratia, grace alone, as the means of salvation,
Right?
directly challenging the established theological traditions that often tied salvation to human works and merit. For many, then and now, it's a profound offense to their sense of fairness. It feels unearned.
Yeah, it feels counterintuitive to how we think the world works. It really reframes everything we think we know about worthiness, doesn't it?
It does.
And our source material drives this home by drawing an even clearer, more impactful distinction. Salvation is not earned, it's received. It's not about religion, it's about relationship.
This is such a powerful statement, separating two concepts that are often, conflated.
It truly is a critical distinction. It cuts right to the heart of the matter. When we talk about religion, it can often imply a structured system, rules, duties, dogmas, rituals, institutional belonging.
The structures. It's about adherence to a prescribed path, often with a list of do's and don'ts, a framework designed to guide or maybe contain spiritual seeking. The thief on the cross had no time, no capacity, and absolutely no opportunity for any of that.
None whatsoever.
His interaction, as exemplified by his simple, heartfelt request and Jesus' immediate response, points directly to relationship, a personal, direct connection based purely on trust and faith, irrespective of past actions, social standing, or religious adherence.
Just that connection.
The thief's simple prayer forged an immediate, profound relationship with Jesus, one that transcended all the customary frameworks, all the intermediaries, all the prerequisites that human systems often impose. This story provides a powerful, unadulterated example of a personal spiritual connection made in the absolute absence of any traditional religious framework, any lengthy commitment, or any outward show of piety.
It's incredibly pure.
It strips away all the layers we often add to our spiritual journeys, leaving only the essential. A heartfelt, genuine call for remembrance and an immediate, boundless divine response. It shows that the path to the divine isn't through accumulating merit, but through simply receiving a freely offered connection.
Powerful stuff. Okay, section 6. Echoes through eternity, personal relevance, and enduring hope. This brings us to perhaps the most poignant and personally relevant part of this deep dive. Connecting the thief's story to our own lives, to your experience, our source really speaks directly to this universal human condition, saying, maybe you feel like that thief, broken, out of chances. Maybe you've wasted years, made mistakes, or feel unworthy to even lift your head in prayer. It's a feeling I think many of us can relate to at different points in our lives, isn't it? That haunting sense of having messed up too much, of being beyond redemption, or feeling simply too far gone to ever reconnect with something sacred.
Absolutely. The universal human experience of guilt, regret, and that feeling of being beyond redemption is incredibly potent and deeply isolating. We all have moments, or maybe entire seasons, where we believe our past is too dark, our mistakes too numerous, our chances too few,
That the door is closed?
or that we've simply crossed some invisible line from which there's no return. But the thief's story stands as this luminous beacon against that very despair. It powerfully proves this profound truth, as our source reminds us, that Jesus saves to the very last breath.
To the very last breath.
There's no pit too deep, no past too dark, no sin too heavy that his blood cannot cover. This is a message of radical, all-encompassing hope, particularly for anyone at any stage of life who feels they are at their absolute end or that they've run out of opportunities for spiritual connection or forgiveness.
It offers hope right to the end.
And the poignant anecdote from our source about someone on their hospital bed near death who simply whispered, "Jesus, remember me," and found profound peace. Well, that just brings this ancient story powerfully into contemporary relevance.
Makes it very real.
It underscores that this isn't just a historical event frozen in time. It's a living, breathing truth that continues to offer hope and transformation to people in their most desperate moments. It demonstrates that a true connection is always within reach, regardless of how we perceive our own worthiness.
And it's this simple, raw, and utterly accessible nature of grace that truly makes it so remarkable. There are no complex hoops to jump through, no arduous entry requirements beyond a simple, genuine plea, a turning of the heart.
Just a call.
This profound accessibility is beautifully echoed in a verse our source cites from the Apostle Paul in Romans 10:1, which declares, "Everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved."
And this verse truly unpacks the breadth and universality of everyone who calls. How does this New Testament verse echo and reinforce the immediate, simple act of faith demonstrated by the thief on the cross?
It's a perfect match.
It perfectly aligns, doesn't it? It transcends all societal, religious, or moral barriers. It underscores the universal availability of this grace, requiring only a genuine call from the heart, a recognition of need, and a turning toward that profound source of mercy.
Simple, but not easy sometimes.
True. It's not about being religious enough or having a perfect track record or performing the right rituals. It's about a relationship initiated by a sincere request, a vulnerable opening of oneself. This deep dive into the story of the thief on the cross and its astonishing simplicity and radical generosity truly reveals a truth that fundamentally reshapes our entire understanding of spiritual access. It challenges that deeply embedded human desire to earn rather than simply receive.
So what does this all mean for you, listening? Our deep dive into the thief on the cross has not just retold a familiar story, it has, we hope, uncovered a profound and often challenging message. It's a narrative that strips away complexity, bypasses centuries of religious interpretation, and invites us to reconsider the very nature of salvation itself. It shines a blinding spotlight on pure, unadulterated grace and the incredible, transformative power of simple, genuine faith.
And it's a powerful narrative that leaves us with a stark, undeniable choice, doesn't it? The two thieves represent humanity's two fundamental responses to ultimate truth, particularly when confronted with suffering and divine presence, rejection and cynicism.
Or humble reception.
Or humble reception and faith. It's a testament to the fact that spiritual connection can transcend every barrier we often erect, whether those are our past mistakes, our feelings of unworthiness, our intellectual doubts, or our ingrained desire to earn our way.
All those barriers we put up.
It's a moment where all human striving is rendered secondary to divine invitation, offering hope in its purest, most accessible form.
So as you reflect on this extraordinary story, maybe consider how often we, in our own lives, consciously or unconsciously, strive to earn or deserve what might be freely and generously offered.
The story of the thief on the cross makes us question, what burdens might we lay down if we truly embrace the power and simplicity of a genuine, heartfelt request and the scandalous, boundless generosity of grace?